This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, saving your day from boredom with the best podcasting entertainment.
What's up, everybody? Ricky Widmer here, along with fellow man-child Johnny Karlic.
Grass tastes bad.
And we are back for the Rick and Johnny podcast here on the Most Valuable Podcast Network. And we are back to talk about what nerdy news, entertainment news, movie news. We kind of hit all of it. In today's podcast, though, we're going to be looking more on the nerd side and the gaming side. As we're going to look at a possible Black Widow solo film, or the idea of one, from Thor director Taika Waititi.
Yeah.
Then we're also going to look at kind of a philosophy when it comes to gaming. Not necessarily a game, a certain philosophy and a certain kind of question
I mean,
that
it's
has
brought
arose.
up because of a certain game, but no.
Because of Cuphead, it has been brought up, but we are going to dive into that. And then we're going to look at Justice League, and should we be excited for the villain
Should we?
of Stepphenwolf? Well, I guess we'll have to get to it. And it is our Halloween podcast, so Johnny has his Nightmare Before Christmas.
This is Halloween.
I guess I went with a Halloween thing.
I mean, Stranger Things is Halloween-esque. It's almost like a horror movie.
But it was more, I'm wearing my Stranger Things shirt because
It came out this
Things
week.
has come out, and that leads me right into, before we start the podcast, a little housekeeping. Number
Hey,
one.
you got it right.
Number one is just for Rick and Johnny fans of, we're going to do a Stranger Things review next week. So next Monday is when we will release our Stranger Things review. Give us some time to watch it, and then we will get that to you guys, what we thought about season 2. Then other things. Number one, go rate our podcast on iTunes. Go to iTunes, type in Onside Kick, Fast Break, Primetime Podcast, Rick and Johnny. Go and rate all of our podcasts on iTunes. And then the last thing is check out patreon.com/mostvaluablepodcast. Jake, Patrick, our new guy, I want to thank you for submitting and pledging to the $10 tier. He's going to be on a podcast next month, along with Jake, Johnny. So now we got two of our wonderful fans going to be on podcast next month. You can be on one too. Just check out patreon.com/mostvaluablepodcast. Housekeeping is over, Johnny.
Oh,
We're going to get right into it. We're in your realm. We're in the Marvel side of things. We'll end the podcast on my side with DC.
I mean, it's like a nice little transfer in the middle and then goes to the end.
And then we kind of move it from side to side.
Yeah.
But the reason why we bring this up is because Thor 3 director Taika Waititi brought up in an interview with IO9. He was discussing the latest film, discussing Thor Ragnarok, and he was asked about, he mentioned that I'd like to do a Black Widow movie. However, he wants to do it as a comedy. And his exact quote is, as I read here, in all honesty, I reckon I could probably bring something pretty unique to any of the franchises. So I'd love to see Black Widow. I'd like to see Black Widow as something crazy, but a bit funnier than we expect it to be. Because we know her story, and it's very sullen and very dark, and her history is very dark. But what's the funny version of that? What's the more entertaining version of that end quote? And Johnny, I just want to ask you this. Could a Black Widow solo movie be a comedy?
That's a really tough question, honestly, because I always saw it as you kind of need to go with, instead of the newer route, which I get with it, I get it. That's why he would I kind of get that's in the sense why he wants to make it a comedy. It would make it fit better in the newer route Marvel's going. I feel like her backstory fits better. I mean, if it's a backstory one, I doubt we're going to do a backstory one now that everyone actually knows it. I don't know if that would necessarily be good as a comedy. Otherwise, I mean, I would say a good example would probably kind of like a Kingsman comedy in a sense, where it's funny, it's got humor to it, but it's also got serious moments. I wouldn't, like, straight up comedy, I wouldn't be able to see that very well.
No, my exact answer to this when I proposed the question and thought about this was, if you are going to do, and this is just for an origin style.
Yes, an origin.
For Black Widow. Because there are different stories you can do.
Yeah.
But if we're thinking of the origin story for Black Widow, or we're thinking about anything pre-S.H.I.E.L.D., where she is before S.H.I.E.L.D., basically.
Yeah.
No, you can't.
I agree.
You can't, because the way I look at it is that movie that's either coming out or has come out with Jennifer Lawrence. I think it's called Sparrow.
Red
it's basically
Sparrow, right?
Yeah, it's basically Black Widow.
It's
basically what it is.
The off-brand Black Widow movie
is Black Widow, and I feel like you can't do that kind of a movie as a comedy.
Her origin story
You can't put in the details and the exact things she went through in a comedy.
No,
you can't do it.
You can't really joke. It's not really something that you can make a huge joke about. Honestly, it's just how do you? I mean. You can, but do you really?
You can't do it in the sense of like Guardians or in the sense of like what Thor 3 looks like it's going to be. Because we have not seen it. We are going to see it this upcoming Thursday for our movie review to come out this next week. But I think you can't do that as a comedy. You can't. Because,
not the origin story.
Because then it seems like you're playing light into tragic events. And I get it. There might be people out there that go, well, you can do whatever you want. Don't let PC culture keep you down. But on the sense of it, I just think there's no way to do that without offending a mass group of people because you're playing light to torture and other elements that she had to go through in her backstory.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely not like her if we're going to do an origin story, I'm going to go with a blatant no.
Yeah.
If we're gonna go just pre-Shield, and even in her origin story, and it kind of snowballs as it goes farther down the timeline. Origin story, no, just like the little quips she makes. That should be the funny parts, little quips here and there. Or pre-Shield, maybe a little bit more funniness to it, not a lot, because it's like she's still an assassin, she's still just killing people, she's still kind of working for like whoever she was with in the Red Room, where she went her procedure, and then it's kind of like you could make a not origin exactly, but it's like a pre-Shield becoming Shield member where she actually comes into contact with Clinton Barton, and you can actually make maybe a little funny thing going on between that.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Yes,
because that's what I thought of was. The only way you could make a Black Widow movie a comedy is if you do it, whether it's right before S.H.I.E.L.D. or when they start at S.H.I.E.L.D., where it's basically a Black Widow, Hawkeye buddy cop movie.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I can think of where you make it a comedy. Everything else would have to be after S.H.I.E.L.D.
Budapest.
Yes.
That would be, we could get a Budapest movie finally.
Okay.
Remember from Avengers 1?
Yes.
Remember, this reminds me of the time in Budapest. You and I remember Budapest very differently.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that would be the one where I can see a very funny...
Thank you for reminding me, because I originally said yes, like, yeah, sure, Johnny, I know what you're talking about. Thank you for explaining, because now I do remember that scene.
In case no one else did too.
Yeah.
I said... Anyways, that would make a great buddy cop movie, because they made a joke about it in a movie already.
Yeah.
Otherwise, her origin, no, except for the little quips she makes. Pre-Shield... Maybe a little bit extra when it comes to like her quips and then like the interaction between her and Barton. But otherwise, like when it comes to like, for example, Budapest, that could be a buddy cop movie. That could be a comedy. So, and then maybe after, but like Clint's retired technically, or after he's in jail now.
There's an interesting thing about that.
Oh, actually, we have to wait and see what happens with Infinity War. So I'm not even going to say that.
There's an interesting thing because I'm going to bring this up kind of in passing. There's a theory out there that we could see Hawkeye turn into Ronin, who is his, it's the other alter ego that he went after, in the comics, went into after Civil War. The one where he has the mask on and he's got the sword. Yeah. There's a theory out there that we're moving towards that with the Hawkeye in the movie.
That'd be cool. See that? I mean, I would like to see too. They haven't really. Well, they're kind of. It seems like they're making a nudge at in Infinity Wars with some of the costuming I've seen on pictures online. Yeah, they're kind of going towards Captain America Nomad, where he like the star is gone on the chest. Yeah, the Avengers is gone, and so anything that details him to Captain America is kind of going away. And I would at least like not call him Nomad, but let's make a reference. Yeah. I would love to hear that because that's what he's going for now. He's got the beard, so he's like not your typical Captain America anymore.
And I mean, you bring up Captain America, that makes me think, is there any story that you could tell where it's a Black Widow movie with Steve Rogers, because there was a little bit of comedy and back and forth
in Winter Soldier
between Natalia and Steve.
You know what? I can't think of one that like would be the two of them other than what we got in not Civil War, Winter Soldier, because that's like that was going on then. Now, like afterwards, there's like little hints of time in between, but not ton, because then we got Civil War, and they're on opposite sides where she's kind of like on the waiver line about it. And then afterwards, he's on the run. Is she on the run now? Because it looks like that from Infinity Wars.
Technically is.
Because she's blonde now.
Yes.
Scarlet Witch is more red than red hair than when she was born.
And Scarlet Witch is living with Vision. Yes,
which was weird because he's not on the run.
No.
Whatever. We'll find out when Infinity Wars comes out on that part. But yeah, so I mean, there might be something you can do in there, but I would lean more towards let's do a pre-story of Budapest. That my number one pick. If you're going to make it a comedy,
so like a buddy cop of Budapest.
Buddy cop Budapest. Because as soon as Avengers, as soon as the first Avengers movie came out and that stuff came out, I saw a ton of stuff online of what happened in Budapest. I want to see what happened in Budapest.
Just because they mentioned it?
Yeah, just because they mentioned it and they made a joke about it.
I feel like if you're going to do a comedy with Black Widow, you're going to have to do it with another character. Another one that I just looked at the screenwriter article and I'll throw it out. What about a Black Widow Hulk movie? Maybe like a rom-com?
Yeah,
you could do that. With Hulk and Black Widow.
The little things that happen in between.
I almost said a ro-com. I'm like, no, that's not right. A rom-com, romantic comedy. Because they had that little twining together.
I thought romantic comedy was a romantic communist.
No, not that. No, a little bit of a rom-com. Could they do that with Black Widow and Hulk?
They could. I just want to know where it would lay out in the timeline. Is the only thing. Like, Marvel is about keeping their timeline.
Except after
Infinity Wars.
This movie would definitely be after Infinity War. It would. Timeline gone.
Yeah, I mean,
they're breaking their timeline with Infinity War.
They are. So in that case, then it could work. It just depends on all this. Is the problem? Is like what happens in Infinity Wars?
Yeah. Infinity War and Avengers 4, because what it looks like is they're still keeping the part 1, part 2.
Yeah, it
looks like Infinity War is going to be the Black Order and Thanos assembling the gauntlet.
Yeah.
And then it looks like Avengers 4 is going to be we need to stop the gauntlet.
Yeah.
And that's maybe where Captain Marvel comes in.
Yeah. That's
because we'll get the Captain Marvel movie in between Infinity War and Avengers 4.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean that's still kind of a problem of like where. Because it's probably going to come, well, with the planning, it might come after Avengers 4 anyways.
Well, it would, because this is not, like, this isn't even...
It's just a thought.
Let's put it this way. If this movie was a child, this movie's not even a speck in its father's eye right now.
Yeah,
that's how, like, pre-production we are on this idea of a Black Widow
It's more
film.
of just a thought right now.
Pen has not hit paper.
No. But that would be the thing, is, like, there's too much questioning what happens after these movies, after Infinity Wars 1, or after Infinity Wars and then after Avengers 4.
Plus, and the thing with this is we're getting this information from a director, from Taika Waititi, where it's basically, hey, I would love to do this.
Yeah.
This is not Marvel saying
we're having this
we're going to think about doing a Black Widow movie. Like, Kevin Feige has not come out and said, yeah, we're thinking about a Black Widow movie. Like,
exactly.
Marvel knows what movies they're going to do. And I kind of feel like Black Widow, although she was the first female superhero in this universe to be put out there, the thing I worry about is that I don't know if ScarJo will, because ScarJo's an A-list actor or actress. However, I just don't think the character has enough with a story to do a solo film just them, like a Wonder Woman. You can do it with Captain Marvel because Captain Marvel has A, more powers, B, has the intents of like universe on Earth, pre-Avengers, pre-Shield kind of a story, to where I don't think Black Widow, you could tell the kind of solo story unless you do her origin. Solo story like DC did with Wonder Woman.
Yeah, exactly.
Because let's be honest, like the one thing we miss with superhero films are solo female leads.
Exactly.
Like Wonder Woman was it. Wonder Woman was the one to kick down the door and actually be a fucking phenomenal movie.
It was.
To where it's like, wow, this isn't just like, oh wow, it's a good superhero movie for a female lead. It's like, wow, this is one of the best superhero movies I've seen so far.
Exactly. I mean, there've been other ones with female leads that it's not because they're female leads, it's because the movie was just trash.
Aren't that good?
They weren't that good.
That's why
Catwoman.
That's why I kind of want. I know this isn't superhero, but why I kind of want Tomb Raider to be good.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you have that female lead. That's a two-prong approach, though. Because it's a female lead, but also it's a video game movie.
Yeah.
And I would like video game movies to get on the level of where we are with superhero movies.
That would be nice.
Where basically superhero movies are, back when we were growing up, superhero movies were a niche thing.
Yeah.
To where it was like you like Batman, fucking nerd. Where now it's basically, wow, Batman, it's a global, like, wow, Captain America. When we grew up, Captain America, I didn't even know who he was because I was on the DC side.
Exactly.
And because there was no like cartoon, no show with Captain America. And I mean, really the only ones I remember from Marvel were X-Men, Spider-Man, and Iron Man. There was a Hulk one, but I didn't watch it. Those were mainly the three, and even the Iron Man one as a kid, I was kind of like, whatever. It was mainly Spider-Man and X-Men.
Yeah.
But I mean, now we're getting to the level where it's like you see like every kid wants to be Captain America, wants to be Iron Man, wants to be Hulk. And this kind of nerd culture is kind of expanding out into a broader... The culture is becoming broader. That's what I'm trying to say.
It's becoming more mainstream. It's becoming bigger. Yeah, no, I agree. But back to
Black Widow.
To have another female lead, the other problem is I get what it's again, the direction Marvel's going seems a bit different than, and this is going along with just her origin story mainly.
Yeah.
The thought. Going way different than her origin story. It's more of the tone of Iron Man 3, Captain America Winter Soldier, Thor the Dark World. It's got to be darker. It's got to be definitely grittier than those even. And it's got to be, there's a lot, like you can't make a comedy out of that.
No, you can't.
And you go down the timeline as you go farther towards Infinity Wars and Avengers Part 4, you can add more comedy elements to it. But I completely agree with you when you said you really kind of need a second main in there to make it a comedy.
No, I don't think that a Black Widow film could work on its own. I don't. Unless it's the only one would be the origin, but I don't think we're ever going to get that.
I don't think so either, but I
don't think Marvel wants to go in that dark of a tone anymore.
No, that's the
They don't want to go Thor the Dark World.
Exactly. They don't want to go that dark a tone. I would say a Black Widow movie could work on its own, but it can't be a comedy. Not on its own.
But this is where I want to turn the conversation onto you guys. What do you guys think? Could a comedy for Black Widow work? If it does, what would your story be? What would you want the main story to be? Let us know what you guys think down below in the comment section. But Johnny, let's move on into our next topic. And this is honestly my favorite topic. My number one topic, interest-wise and popularity-wise for my own, coming into this podcast. The one I was most excited to talk about.
Yeah.
And this is because it doesn't have to deal with a set thing. It's not like we're talking about this and it's only this. Kind of a little bit more broader.
Yeah.
And what we are talking about here on the podcast, second off, is the question is, are you owed a game's ending because you bought it? And the reason why I asked this is there's a article on Polygon.com. Many other places have talked about this, but I've taken the one from Polygon where the head of their article is, when exclusion is a valid design choice, question mark. And it says the difference between what you earn and what you are owed. And the reason why we are asking this question is there are many people around the game of Cuphead.
Yes.
Which great! It looks like a beautiful game.
Looks fantastic.
I can't wait to play it. I cannot wait to play it. I have not had time to play it yet. It is one I definitely want to try to play because of the design and because it kind of reminds me of an old school game. With that being said, I'm going to ask you first because obviously I can't ask myself.
I mean, you could, but it'd be weird.
If you buy a game, you buy any game, are you owed that game's ending just because you bought it?
Let's put it this way. I mean, you can go two ways about that question, so I'm going to kind of use my answer to clarify.
Okay.
You are owed an ending. Like, don't give me, like, I finished the game and there's not an actual ending.
I'm gonna say this then.
Well, I'm clarifying it with my answer.
Okay.
Wait till I finish this part, and you can if it's
I apologize.
If it's not clear enough, then you can.
Okay.
So you are owed that ending unless the game specifically says, well, we're releasing a DLC yearly. There's never going to
So not a Destiny 1 situation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, unless they say otherwise, you are owed an actual ending, especially if you're doing like a campaign mode.
And with this question, I just want to make it clear. We are talking about this is one game. This is for sure one game. No DLC, no Destiny 1 situation.
No, I agree. And that's what I'm trying to clarify with my second half of my answer.
Go ahead.
You are not owed that ending.
Okay.
If you make it there, that because you have to you should
earn it.
The ending needs to be in the game, but you are not owed getting to that ending
because you bought it.
Just because you bought it, you have to earn it. Any game, there's so many games I play. There's some games I stopped and they're paused from like a year, 2 years ago. I never finished it. I didn't finish because I got aggravated. That's on me, though. I don't blame the makers of the game.
Yeah.
They made it hard for a reason. They made it because they didn't make the levels impossible. If they did that, then they shouldn't have released the game. But that means all the games, there is a way to beat them. You have to figure it out. That is the point of a video game.
Well, and some people are saying that, you know what?
Well, not all video games, but
like Cuphead is extremely difficult, even on its normal difficulty. And I think it's in the Polygon article I read this, where there is a setting in Cuphead where they have regular, then they have a notch up for harder, but then they have a simple difficulty underneath regular.
Yeah.
However, if you play it on simpler or simple, they take 10% of the game away from you. So you don't experience 10% of the game, whether that's different boss fights where usually it's like, oh, I'm going to go down to the next difficulty. It's the same. Usually it's the same boss fight.
Yeah.
So like phase 1, phase 2, then phase 3. Well, in Cuphead, if you go down to simple, you're not going to get that same boss fight as regular. It's basically going to be, well, on regular, you get phase 1, 2, and 3. On simple, you just get 1 and 2. And they take a phase out of it. And basically, I haven't experienced it, so I don't know if at the ending it changes anything.
Yeah.
I like that. I like hey, you know what? We're going to give you this very simple difficulty so you can get through the game, but you're not going to get the full ending. You're not going to get the ending that the regular people get. And the reason why, and I get that there are going to be people out there that bash our answer right away. Because I'm on the same side of you. I'm on the side of, if you buy a game, you're not owed that ending.
No, you have to
get there. And for me, that is the fun of gaming. And I mean, maybe it's the kind of culture that we live in now, where we're in a very instant culture.
Yeah.
With Amazon, with it's basically I go online, I buy it, I get it.
Well, even
everything is instant.
Netflix, Hulu, instantly having it right on your screen.
I click on Stranger Things, it is on my
exactly.
basically on my computer.
Instead of having to go to Redbox to rent it.
Or going to, oh God forbid, going to a Blockbuster.
Wait, there's Blockbuster still?
Blockbuster video. Or going to a movie theater to actually watch a movie, because it kind of feels like we're headed on the trend of phasing out movie theaters altogether. But back to the gaming part, the best feeling I've ever had, and this isn't just gaming, this is ever had, was when I beat the original Sega Aladdin game. best feeling I ever had because I felt like at the end of it that I had reached some sense of accomplishment. I remember being so happy after beating that game. I was running through my house. And I get it. Like, okay, Ricky, you were what, like 5 or 6, maybe. I think I was like 6 years old. But you look at it and you go, as a kid, you're like, yeah, you were a kid. Of course you were excited. No, I felt like I actually achieved something. And an interesting thing that is very different, and I don't know if Cuphead deals with this. It'd be interesting if they did. Like, I was talking to Dave last night, and Aladdin on the Sega, Turtles in Time on the NES. Mm-hmm. When you played anything on those games, you died. You would go all the way back to the beginning.
Oh,
You could be all the way through the game, die, run out of lives, because of course they have lives.
Yeah.
And have to start all the way from the beginning of the entire game.
Oh, I know 100% what you mean. Because I'm not counting Duck Hunt. My first system ever was the original Nintendo.
The NES.
The only game I had for it.
I've never beaten a game on the NES.
The only game I had for it was Duck Hunt. I mean, technically you had Dr. Mario, but it didn't work.
Yeah, basically.
For some reason.
That was basically Tetris.
Yeah. But so the only game I had was Duck Hunt. I don't count that one as beating it because you just keep playing over and over, figuring out. And I mean, you eventually find out that if you go super far away from the screen, the whole screen blasts and you get the duck every time.
Yeah.
Don't count that game. First game I ever beat, and I remember it clear as day, was for the Game Boy, Donkey Kong.
Okay.
First game I ever beat. Road Trip. Just kept playing it. Even when like the sun went down, clicked that little light in that went over it. I kept playing it. Finally beat the damn thing. Greatest feeling ever. And the thing is, I earned that win because that was a hard as hell game to beat at my age. Because it's not like a lot of games we have today where it's like, oh, you just fight and get through it.
Yeah.
Sorry. Or the shooting, even Overwatch. It's just shooting. I mean, there's some stuff you have to, but there's not a ton of...
Overwatch is frustrating, though. Overwatch is
frustrating in a different way.
It's dealing with stupid-ass teammates that don't know what the F they're doing. That's
Agreed.
What Overwatch
We'll
is.
have another podcast about that some other day.
Yeah, we'll have to show them game footage for that of stupid teammates. But
exactly.
Go ahead.
I would, like I said earlier, I would pop in the light. I was playing, and I finally won on that road trip. And, I mean, I earned that win. That's the thing. It was hard when I was at that age. But the greatest thing was, because I earned that win, was... I figured it out. I figured out all the puzzles.
It was like a puzzle. Exactly.
Because you're playing as Mario, and you have to figure out, well, where to jump here, where to jump there.
Yeah.
When's the best time to grab that hammer?
I'm going to put it this way.
Yeah.
You guys can see this on the YouTube channel, but earlier this week I streamed Crash Bandicoot. And, I mean, first off, special thanks to Spock and Ninja Turtle, who were in the stream, chilling out with me while playing Crash Bandicoot. Or Bandicoot. I'm saying it wrong, by the way. Many years later, I keep saying Crash Bandicoot, and I don't know why. It's just Bandicoot.
I don't know why either.
I don't know why I'm saying Bandy. It's Bandicoot. I don't know why I'm pronouncing it like that. But even that, playing it so many years later, I was cruising. Then I got to a level. I'm like, I can't get this level. And I had to go back, do it. I remember that in gaming, too. This was after we had save cards now at this point.
Yeah.
But basically it was... I'm running my head into a wall with this level. I'm going to put it down, either go do something else, or I'm going to put it down, play something else.
Yeah.
And then come back to it, and I was able to beat it.
Yeah, that's what some of my games are.
But, there were, back in the day, NES, Sega, Super NES, you had to, and Dave brought up a point, you had to beat it almost in one sitting.
Yeah, exactly.
And Dave even brought up the point when we were talking about it, he goes... Well, don't you remember the classic of, well, shit, I got to leave my system on while I go to school. I hope no one turns it off.
Exactly. Or the power doesn't go out.
I hope no one turns it off or else I'm done. And I have to start all over.
Yeah. No, I remember those days too. Or even when the N64, if you did not have the memory card thing.
That's another one I brought up because I'm like, for the N64 was just on the cusp.
It was like the back and forth.
You had the memory card for some games.
Yeah.
But also you had games like Banjo-Kazooie and Zelda which the game cartridge you can save on the cartridge.
Yeah, exactly.
So you had a save file on the game itself.
The game itself had actually finally had room. That's where we were having like
but it was just bridging over into
exactly.
That.
So not all your games had it.
Some games required the memory card.
Yeah, well, it stuck at my house. I wasn't allowed to keep the game system on. So if I wanted to save it. And it wasn't one of those types of games that's like, well, I have to restart.
Yeah.
Great.
So Johnny's like, great, I never beat those games.
Yeah, I never beat them unless I beat them in that one sitting. Because I was not allowed to keep the system on for reasons my parents didn't want it to overheat.
But like after that, it's like PlayStation memory cards.
Exactly.
PlayStation 2 memory cards. PlayStation 3, it's all on the system. You're saving on the system. Didn't need a memory card. PlayStation 4, it's all on the system. You don't need a memory card. Same thing with the Xbox.
Xbox 360
the first Xbox had memory cards.
Yeah.
Then after that, none of them had memory cards, I believe. Unless the 360 does.
360 had, depending on which system you bought. Mine, for example, had an expandable, like I can actually take the old thing off and it's like this long, but it's like it's all your memories in there, and you just click it back in and it's a new one.
Okay.
So I have
so it's like a memory stick.
Sort of, yeah. That's where that's where all the memories hidden.
Where all they lie, all the memories.
And then the Xbox One obviously is internal.
Yeah, and I mean nowadays maybe that's the different part. Maybe it's because we grew up, people older than us. So we're 27.
Yeah.
People older than us, I think, will have the same thought process as us, maybe even a little different. Like if you're old enough and you grew up with the NES as your main system or even the Atari.
Yeah.
Like if you grew up back then, you might have a similar thought of, you know what, I didn't have these fancy memory cards. I had to beat it in one sitting. Nowadays, everything is savable.
Exactly.
But I mean, back to the original question, I feel like it is not the game designer's goal to give you a game that you should be able to beat should be able to beat all the way through. Obviously, you don't want to make it so impossible, but it's their job to give you a game that is both a good mix of both fun and challenging.
Exactly.
If they can do both, they've done their job. Nowadays, there's a third aspect into that. Story.
Yeah.
It's got to give you a fun, challenging game with a good story. Because the thing is, with games now, we've moved into we are in the next kind of mode of everything. It's basically like a movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Until Dawn, the horror game, which I would love to play someday because I never actually played it. I've just watched people play it. That's a great game. I love it because that's one to where it's like it looks like a movie and you're making choices.
Exactly. Those
you're
are
making choices. That one's a little different though. But like in a game like Cuphead, where it might not be, it's a side scroller, there's a story, but it's not like that cinematic story. I don't think it's the game developers. They're not obligated to make sure you can get through the entire game.
Yeah.
It's their obligation to give you a challenging game to where, okay, you're going to have to work for it. But then when you get through it, when you work through it, practice, get through it, greatest feeling in the world.
Yeah.
Greatest feeling. Think about the Mega Mans. You ever play Mega Man growing up?
Not a lot, but
infuriating. That's what I'll tell you, Johnny. Infuriating. I've never beaten a Mega Man game. Well, scratch that. Mega Man X, I think I beat, but like the old Mega Mans on like the NESs, never beat them because you had to go through every single. There were like 8 bosses you had to go through, and it was like different worlds. Never beat it as a kid. Never. Mainly because the NES to me was like the tail end of NES. And I was right into Sega, and I was a Sega homeboy. Sega NES, I was a Sega. Then the Super Nintendo, that's when I was on Nintendo. Then obviously when it became PlayStation versus Xbox, I had a PlayStation, I had an Xbox. And then I chose the right route of PlayStation.
I mean,
and that's where I landed.
The right route is more like a dark side, light side conversation.
To me, it's the right side. It's the only side.
It's the right side for Ricky.
In my mind, it's the only side. But anything...
That's a complete lie.
Anything that you want to bring up with this that you think we missed in this discussion of Cuphead and game difficulty and if you're owed the ending?
Not really. I mean, the only thing I'm going to add to is like, yeah, here's the other side of it. Not all games require like the figuring stuff out, the puzzle part of it. The puzzle solving aspect of it. Kind of like I brought up earlier, Overwatch. That's
or like any sports game.
Any sports game, even Mortal Kombat's a great example too. There's not really a lot of problem solving. You fight, you shoot. There's not a ton of problem solving to be done.
Overwatch is basically a skill set of I'm going to practice with this character and get really good. But if I'm not good at this character, I'm not going to do good in the game.
I mean, there's a little bit of puzzle solving, whereas how can I match up my combos? Great example. The newest one, Doomfist. You have to. I know you, and I suck with Doomfist. I'll admit it.
I love.
I
Doomfist.
Suck. I've tried a few times. Not a lot.
Love them.
But you need to basically figure out the pattern of how you need to hit everyone, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
You have to learn how to the uppercut, the slam down, the punch in the wall. You just
how to time them, how to use them.
It's got to work, and it's harmonious. You just
exactly.
It's a feel the rhythm, feel the rhyme. Get on down, Johnny. It's bobsled time.
I was gonna say it's Doomfist time.
No,
right?
It's Doomfist time.
Yeah, see, it works. It fits.
But you gotta feel the rhythm, feel the rhyme with Doomfist. That's what I always say.
Yeah, no, see, I'm a diva. I'm basically a tank. I've so far I've been hitting a lot of diva, Orisa, and now Reinhardt.
Yeah.
So I've been tanking a lot.
Yeah. Whereas I'm on the other side where Farah is basically my bottom bitch, and that's how I play. Let's put it this way. I told Dave this, and I know this is off topic, but I'll say it anyways.
Yeah.
So since the summer event, hadn't played Overwatch.
Okay.
Picked it up this week, played Farah. Like nothing happened.
Yeah, like riding a bike.
Like nothing like I didn't miss any time. 61, 62 weapon accuracy percentile. Led the team with 24 kills, gold medal there, gold medal damage, gold medal objective kills. We won.
Yeah.
Went 9-1 in my placements.
Nice.
9-1 basically because I'm a boss. But I'm on the side of the game developer does not owe you the ending. You are too.
Earn it.
I want to know what you guys think. Let us know down below. What do you think? Should we, when we buy a video game, should we be owed the ending, or should you be able to work at it, earn it, get through it? Let us know what you guys think down below in the comment section. But Johnny, we're going to end the podcast coming into the world of DC, the better world. I'm sorry, Marvel, but the better world, DC. The one where the better characters are, and I'm just saying that playfully. I don't really mean that.
I was gonna say, I mean, when you guys hit the movies like we do, then you can say something. I'm gonna make that little jab.
Yeah. Who makes the better animated series and the better animated movies? That's us.
We really don't do animated movies.
Us. I know, because you guys know that we're the kings. Kings of animated movies, kings of animated series. So we each have our own.
I know
that we're good at. And we're basically looking at, if you're on YouTube, you saw, I played it for you, just the trailer, the Stepphenwolf trailer, I believe. That was the Chinese or Japanese, I think it's the Chinese trailer for Stepphenwolf. However, it's all in English for you guys. Sorry if you're on Blog Talk Radio, that link will be down below in the description. However, Johnny, I'm going to ask you this. Stepphenwolf is obviously the big baddie of the film.
Yeah.
And just to put it frank, should we be excited for Stepphenwolf? I'll ask you as the non-DC guy first.
Well, obviously, because they're a fantastic band. No, I'm kidding. There just happens to be a band also named Steppenwolf from the 70s.
Yeah.
I would be excited. I mean, I got a synopsis from you because he said we talk about each week we talk about what we're going to talk about. He's like, should we be excited about Steppenwolf? And first thing I messaged him back, I was like,
a lot about
who is Steppenwolf? Because I made that joke with him too about
you're
the
like
band thing.
The band we're talking about the band from the 70s.
No, and then I'm like, yeah, I don't know who Steppenwolf is because I'm not a DC guy.
Yeah,
I'm excited to hear about this, and I don't know. I mean, I don't know as much as you do about it, and so like the parademon thing. Like, I guess what the synopsis is now from what we see from the trailers is he comes to the Earth because he's not trying to take it over. He's basically
harvesting it.
Oh, that's actually the word I was going to use.
Yeah.
He's harvesting troops. He's harvesting them and creating parademons.
It's basically what they do. They come to a planet, they get more parademons, they destroy the planet, they leave.
Okay. So, I mean, then, yeah, that works for me. And that makes a perfectly logical reason that the Justice League has to form and stop this from happening. Because you got the lieutenant of Darkseid.
Because they also have to get the mother boxes, too.
Yes.
Yeah. And the mother boxes are on the planet. So they have to harvest the planet for the mother boxes. They can turn people into parademons. And then they destroy the planet, basically. And leave it for dust and then go on to the next planet.
Yeah. I mean, it's just basically you're creating an army type of...
Yeah.
You're
creating
create
Darkseid's army is what you're doing.
So I'm excited. I'm kind of excited for it now that I know who he is and what that's all about. Yeah, I'm more excited for him. He looks like kind of a badass at this point.
I am on the same side.
Yes.
I am super excited for that. I'm now more excited now that we actually get to see him and hear him talk.
Yes.
I love how we get the line where the guy scaredly goes, "But I have a family." And he goes, "Huh. It's interesting. Everyone keeps telling me that." Kind of like I don't understand why you are concerned. Like, why would that, like, that is a humorous way to ask the question, why would it matter if you have a family? Like, that should keep me from killing you?
Yeah, right.
That should keep me from destroying you is because you have a family?
Well, not even destroying, turning.
Yeah, destroying you, making you a parademon.
Yeah, it's like,
and
could do it anyways.
The thing I'm more excited about this is, what are we going to get from Stepphenwolf? Because here's the thing, and I was telling you a little bit explaining about who Stepphenwolf is, and if you're unsure, you don't know, basically one of the new gods, he's from Apocalypse, but more importantly, he's the uncle of Darkseid.
Okay.
So he's the uncle of Darkseid, older than Darkseid. However, Darkseid is more powerful than him. And that's why Darkseid is the ruler over Stepphenwolf, and while Stepphenwolf is his commander. However, in the comics, Stepphenwolf doesn't like this. Darkseid and Stepphenwolf don't have the best of relationships because Stepphenwolf is more on the side of, I'm your uncle, I should be the one over you.
Yeah.
However, Darkseid is so powerful to where if he stood up to Darkseid, boom, you're dead. That's basically how powerful Darkseid is. Boom, you're dead. And he doesn't want to die.
Yeah.
So the thing I am interested for this movie is one of two things. One is Stepphenwolf coming to Earth to get parademons to turn the parademons onto Darkseid? Or is he eventually, in this movie, going to try to use the Justice League to defeat Darkseid so then he's there to take Darkseid's place?
That's actually a great setup for a reasoning to, like, just a great overall, like,
because
backstory, like, overline the universe instead of just the one movie.
Because right now we don't know if there's going to be a part 2.
Yeah.
Obviously, we got to see how part 1 does. We got to see how other movies do.
Yeah.
But there are some, I believe they are starting to at least write a script.
Okay.
For Justice League 2, which wouldn't be until like 2020.
Yeah.
But if they did a part 1, part 2, just like Avengers, this could be the movie where it's like Stepphenwolf and the Justice League. And then the second one could be, what is this plan? How does it go with Darkseid? I think it would be cool to see him try to use the Justice League to turn on Darkseid.
In a form of manipulation to get what he wants. Yeah.
Yes.
Because, I mean, yeah, it's, I get it, like, that, I didn't know that part of the animosity really was, yeah, there's an animosity there, like, no, I should be in charge of you.
Yeah.
Because I'm older than you. I've been here longer. I basically paid my dues.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so, I mean, if you have that strong of an enemy, the enemy of my enemy is my friends, hey, there's this, like, maybe he doesn't even know about it right off the bat. He just is doing his master's bidding, in a sense, creating parademons. Finds out about the Justice League. Shit, I can use this to my advantage. There's people that are this powerful fighting this stuff. I'm going to use that and try and make it seem like, oh no, this is just your enemy, Darkseid, because we went to harvest from their planet. I had nothing to do with this, too. That little underlying backstory for the universe, then.
Because the thing that's interesting is, like, in the comics, too, it's Stepphenwolf is really fucking powerful. Like, I'm just going to read a quote here from Movie Pilot because they put it perfectly. They say, and all three of DC's famous Trinity, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, died going up against him. Physically, like all the new gods, he is a tremendously dangerous figure capable of giving the strongest of the Justice League a run for their money.
Damn.
And I feel like this movie, Stepphenwolf, is going to be so interesting because you get that side, but also I think there's going to be a little one-on-one matchup between him and Cyborg. Because in this movie, Cyborg is his dad uses a mother box. I know that's how it is. Uses a mother box to give him the cyborg capability.
Exactly.
So basically, they're going to have to go mano-y-mano because if Stepphenwolf wants the mother box, he's basically going to have to kill Cyborg to get it.
Yeah, because Cyborg is at least part, if not the mother box.
He's going to have to kill Cyborg to get all the parts of that mother box that he needs.
Exactly. So that will be really interesting to see what happens with that. Because you're right. There would have to at least be a partial, mano-y-mano. Because
we do see this was the cyborg, like thing they sent out.
Yeah.
Basically and I was thinking, that's why I had my eyes closed there.
Yeah,
I'm trying to look into my head because that's how I think about stuff. But in like the little promos that they're doing for each character, where for Cyborgs, there's a confrontation where Cyborg's up on the second floor. He's looking down with his arm cannon pointed at Stepphenwolf, and Stepphenwolf is there with parademons, and one of the hostages looks to be Cyborg's father. Oh. And then in the trailer, you just see Cyborg shoot at Stepphenwolf. So you don't know if Cyborg's father is going to make it out alive there. You don't know what's going on. The only thing you know is that Cyborg shot at Stepphenwolf.
So it'll be interesting to see how that pans out too.
And I mean, the thing that's also interesting is because he's so powerful, and it says here, is capable of giving the strongest members of the Justice League a run for their money. Are we going to see... what are we going to see? Of course, they're not going to kill anyone off.
No.
But we got a special hero that has to make his return, that I'm assuming is making his return in this movie. And we've already talked about how that happens, but how does that then play into that? I think that there's so many things story-wise that they can do with Stepphenwolf. I can't wait, because we've already bought our tickets. We bought them before recording the podcast. I cannot wait to see what they're exactly going to do with Stepphenwolf and how this builds up to Darkseid. Because they could do no animosity between them. He is here to start the story, to lead us to Darkseid. Or they can throw that wrench into it and say, hey, you know what? He's here, but he's kind of got another hidden agenda. That's what I was thinking of.
Hey,
Thank you.
I figured I worked for Ricky.
You were sitting there and I was struggling. Hidden agenda. He could have a hidden agenda. So that's what it's like when
I struggle with words.
Very. Except I jump in a lot sooner. Or so I feel like I jump in a lot sooner.
The word didn't click right away either.
But or will he have a hidden agenda where it's like, I'm going to play along, but at the right time, I'm going to turn on Darkseid.
Yeah, I mean, I would play it as... Here's how I would play it. So he is there to just do the harvesting. He's there for what Darkseid told him to do. Finds out about the Justice League. Finally, his opportunity to have that. Wow, I literally just forgot the word I gave you. Agenda. That alternate other agenda for him to use that other. Like, wow, I can use this to my advantage. Have them fight Darkseid. If they lose. Not my problem. I just keep harvesting. If they win, I'm in charge. It's like it's a win-win for him either way.
Because also it looks like what we're getting, and this is from the Stepphenwolf footage too, is it looks like we are going to get him before he even came, because it looks like he's going to have come here before present time.
Yeah.
Because he lands on Themyscira. And you see the one scene in the trailer where it's basically the boom tube booming him in, and all the Amazonians running on horseback to this big boom tube.
I don't know if that was Amazonians, because there were a lot of males in that group.
No, I'm talking about this isn't the one on that. So this isn't like the dark scene.
Yeah.
This is one where it's on Themyscira.
Oh, okay.
It's on Themyscira, big green grass. And you see all the Themysciras just running on horses to a blue beam from the sky, which is a boom tube, which is basically how they transport each other from planet to planet. And then also you see the shot where they're in that kind of room where Wonder Woman got her lasso and shield, and he just comes superhero landing or supervillain landing, and then he just picks his head up. And it's like you see them all around.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that is before present day, that he's even been on Earth before.
Well, no, it's guaranteed it's before present day, because Wonder Woman even says
he's not there before my time. That's what she said.
Before I was born, he was here. Because you see a bunch of like warriors on horseback wearing animal furs, riding towards him, ready for battle.
And you even
slams down his axe.
There's even people that have said that there's going to be him fighting against Zeus.
Wow, that would be interesting.
Could you imagine not Apocalypse? Could you imagine Stepphenwolf going up against Zeus?
That would be an interesting fight.
Maybe he talked to Ares. Maybe that's going on too, because Ares doesn't like Zeus. None whatsoever, and he would be alive. He would be alive at that point.
Yeah,
Ares is not alive anymore, but he would be alive back then.
Yeah, and little Delio goes on and take out Zeus. But then that's the thing. He was here before. He just slams down his axe and parademons,
which I cannot like. The parademons, I will say, the only thing from BVS that I have backed up on are the parademons, only because I hate how they did it in BVS.
Yeah.
But I don't hate the parademons like I did. I hate how they introduced the parademons. Now that I know the story and the goal behind the parademons, and that Stepphenwolf is basically like here to, now I'm on board. I'm like, okay, cool. But back then I'm like, no, this is fucking, it's a dream sequence. What the fuck are we doing? That whole movie though was a train wreck for me. A whole movie was a train wreck, which also, speaking of train wrecks, you do know what's going to start, I think, filming in March, right? Suicide Squad 2. So we'll see how that turns out. As that's going to become a thing that we're going to have to go see, because of course I'm going to go see it because it's DC.
DC gets your money.
Any last thoughts on Stepphenwolf? The Stepphenwolf.
No, I'm excited. Not that I know as much as you do, but I'm excited from what I know about him.
I can't wait to see what they're going to do with him.
Yeah.
Because this also plays into a topic we've already had of how do you reveal Superman.
Exactly.
And I cannot, like, I think it's going to fit out perfectly. Because of the line that I said where, and I will read it again, of capable of giving the strongest of Justice League a run for their money. I can see it right now. Batman getting his ass kicked. Wonder Woman getting her ass kicked. Aquaman ass kicked. Cyborg. He has Cyborg. He's going to kill Cyborg because he needs the mother box. The Flash comes to run up and he just thwip and thwaps him off to the side.
Yeah.
And then you just see all of them are like, oh no, we're going to die. And then thoom. Dun dun dun. Dun dun dun.
Yeah.
And then that's where Superman comes.
No, that would be great. Yeah.
Because we still have a clip, and this is not Stepphenwolf clip, but we still have a clip of Batman looking at a hologram, which looks like red, looks like a red cape. Is it Superman? Is it a Supergirl? What are we looking at there?
Crypto the super dog.
It could be Crypto the super dog. However, I don't know. Like, that's still one where it's like there are still mysteries around this film, and I can't wait to go see it. I hope it is good. Early reviews from China have been good.
Oh, that's good.
Because the movie has released in China, I believe, and they were doing a lot of promotional stuff out in China this week. But I can't wait to see it. That's going to be in a couple weeks. We're going to see Thor this week. Can't wait for that I want to thank you guys. First off, tell us what you think down below. Are you excited for Stepphenwolf? And what do you think the kind of story with Stepphenwolf is going to entail? What twist do you think they're going to throw our way? Also, housekeeping to end the podcast, patreon.com/most valuable podcast. Thank you to Jake and Patrick, our two $10 pledges, and Zani, our patrons at patreon.com/most valuable podcast. Check out that link in the description to find out how you can support the channel more so than watching and sharing our videos. Also, go on to iTunes, rate the podcast here at Most Valuable Podcast. Look them all up. Give us a 5-star rating. Write us a nice little line telling you how much you love us and you love hearing and seeing and watching us and listening to our voices each and every week. Want to thank you guys for watching and or listening. And as always, have a good day, everybody.